Orange County landlords, before you collect rent this month, you need to hear this. The recent Garden Grove chemical incident has caused mandatory evacuations, school closures, and emergency shelters. It's caused a lot of uncertainty for local residents. But for landlords, this is not just a local news story. If your tenant is forced to leave because of a government evacuation order, can you still charge full rent? The incident happened near GKN Aerospace and affected Garden Grove, Stanton, Anaheim, Westminster, and nearby communities. Many families had to leave their homes temporarily. Some went to hotels, others to relatives. Some had no clear timeline for when they could return. Now imagine you own a rental property in or near that zone. Your property may not be physically damaged. No fire, no flooding, no broken windows. But your tenant still cannot legally or safely live there, so what happens to rent? Starting in 2026, California SB 610 changes how landlords and tenants need to think about rent during disasters. If there is a mandatory evacuation order and the tenant is unable to occupy the property, the tenant's rent obligation for those affected days may be suspended or reduced. And this is the key point. The property does not necessarily have to be destroyed or visibly damaged. If the tenant cannot legally access the unit because of an order, rent may be affected. If the tenant already prepaid rent, the landlord may need to provide a credit or refund for those days. That's why you shouldn't automatically demand full rent without checking the evacuation order and dates. Now I know what many landlords are thinking. This was not my fault. I didn't cause the leak. You still have a mortgage, insurance, property taxes, and HOA fees to pay. I get it. But in California, responsibilities are based on whether the property is legally and safely available. A disaster may not be your fault, but the way you handle it can still create liability. If you own property near these cities, here are 3 things you should do immediately. First, check whether your property was inside the official mandatory evacuation zone. Do not rely on rumors. Look for official city, county, or fire authority emergency updates. Second, document everything. Save alerts, emails, texts, and tenant communications. Keep records of hotel requests and any government updates related to the incident. Third, contact your insurance provider and ask about loss of rent coverage. Ask if civil authority coverage may trigger a claim for this type of emergency. The biggest mistake landlords can make right now is acting too aggressively. Do not immediately demand full rent without understanding the evacuation timeline. In a situation involving chemical exposure or air quality, you need to be very careful. So here is the bottom line. Rent may not be business as usual during this incident. Before you collect or argue, verify the facts, document everything, and check your policy. If you're not sure how to calculate rent or start the insurance process, reach out to us. We're here to help.